Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1993 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. Up front is a 4.0 liter inline 6 and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this YJ generation of Wrangler for two reasons. First of all, it's painted like the Jurassic Park Jeep, which is lovely. But the second reason is the fact that I've never driven a YJ before. I've done a lot of generations of the Wrangler, but never the YJ. And I do want to preface this by apologizing for the wind noise in advance. It might get a little noisy here. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 4-liter straight 6 under the hood, designed by AMC. Now, the 4-liter from AMC put in this Jeep is renowned as one of the best engines to come out of that corporation. It's incredibly reliable, and they've been using some form or another since the early 1970s at least, from as far back as I can see. So if you are talking Jeep Wrangler motors, even to this day, this is kind of the one that you want. Now, obviously it's not still in production today, but even when talking about good Wrangler motors, this comes up in conversation every single time. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual, and it's a pretty chunky and clunky manual, but that's what I expect out of a Jeep. Pretty much every Jeep I've ever driven with a manual transmission, it's really clunky, it's not very friendly. Don't expect it to shift like your Miata, because it's not. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, the Jeep is 4-wheel drive. So how's it feel to drive a Jeep Wrangler YJ? Well, it drives like most other Jeeps. However, there are a couple interesting attributes. First of all, it does feel pretty sporty. The 4-liter, which I've only ever driven in the Cherokee and in a mail truck, feels pretty lively here, which is a blast around town. And that's what you want out of a Jeep Wrangler. Steering is pretty snappy and responsive. Again, something I didn't really expect. And for the YJ generation coming off the CJ, they actually lowered the center of gravity a little bit. So if you want a sporty handling Wrangler, I guess you're looking at it. So with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer. On the steering wheel, I don't have anything except for a horn button, and that's it. And off to the left, I do have my headlights and gauge dimmer switches, parking brake release, and then moving on to the door, these are actually the half doors from Jeep. So these are factory half doors from Jeep in the era. If you optioned a soft top, or if you got the soft top, you could option these half doors. They're very sought after, so I'm excited to be having them here in today's YJ. However, they don't have any glass in them, no windows at all. So if you do decide to run them, you don't have any option to roll them up. Moving into the center, we do have a warning light gauge, fuel gauge, coolant temperature, oil pressure, and battery voltage. Love all of that. And down below off to the left, we have some climate controls. I'll explain in a second, but laid out very simply: fan speed off to the left, where to send it, temperature. Off to the right is an aftermarket radio, because every radio from the 90s doesn't keep up with modern tech. And then we have factory optional air conditioning. So this is its own separate unit. It operates completely on its own, apart from the regular heating options, which is really cool. Again, another really rare option found in this particular YJ Wrangler. On the floor, we do have our 4-wheel drive settings off to the left. 4 high, 4 low, 2 high, very simple. And then off to the right, we have the shifter, which is very tall, very long throw, but a rather enjoyable one at that. In the center console, we do have some cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And unfortunately, yet predictably, it fails. Nothing older than 1995 has ever passed, so I pretty much figured it would. Then we do have a little center console, and these particular seats are actually out of a Ford Explorer, so I can't really comment on them one way or another because they're not factory to the Wrangler. However, what is factory to the Wrangler is the back seats, so let's hop back there and do a back seat review. All right, so those Ford Explorer seats are stuck in place, so gotta do a sky entry here. Ugh. All right, we're in the back of the YJ. It's pretty cool. I don't really fit great back here, but you know, it's a back seat in a Jeep. Behind me, there is some cargo space, but not a whole lot. The door does swing open. If you remove these seats, you'd have a lot more cargo space, but it's not a ton. So don't expect that out of the Jeep Wrangler. But honestly, the back seats aren't terrible, and you get this really sweet open air experience, especially with the top off, obviously, like today. So it gets a thumbs up in that respect. Now we have to talk about the looks, and obviously this is painted to mimic and look like the Jurassic Park Jeep, which I think is super special and was part of the reason why I said yes to doing this review, because I thought that that would just be fun to drive a somewhat movie car. Now in the movie, they technically drove 1992 Wranglers, but they did drive Sahara Wranglers specifically, so it does get some bonus points for that, I must say. And also the movie came out in 93, so I feel like it counts. One more thing about the exterior are the headlights. The headlights for this generation, which started in 87, are rectangular. Now, there's actually a weird reason for this, and this could just be a modern folk tale, but here's what I heard. Back in the CJ generation, the generation that came before this, they had a bad rollover problem. Part of the reason why the center of gravity was lowered for this generation. But basically, AMC, when they were making the Wrangler, kept getting sued over rollovers. So when they designed the YJ, they did help that, but in order to visually show that it would roll over less, they switched the headlights from circles, which easily roll, to rectangles, which don't easily roll. That was their sort of fix, was to visually show consumers that this will roll over less via the headlights. How true that is, I'm not totally sure, but that's the word on the street. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Jeep Wrangler from 1993? Well, I've really actually enjoyed my time here in the Wrangler. The biggest thing, and this might come as a shock, I've actually never reviewed a Wrangler with the top off. I've always reviewed it with the top on because, well, in Chicago, it rains all the time. So I came out here to Oregon, where it's supposed to rain all the time, and it's been sunny the entire time I've been here. So, you know, go figure. But really, this car just brings so much joy. It's very easy to drive. The controls are very manageable. You take the doors off, or you put these half doors on, you take the top off, and you just smile. That's all you have to do in a Wrangler, is just show up and smile. And that's exactly what this Jeep offers. A little bit of inside baseball here. I'm actually out here in Oregon. I've filmed 20 cars in the last about 72 hours. And so I am tired. This is my last final review I'm filming here in Oregon. In all honesty, I didn't want to make this video, but I'm happy I did. The sun is setting. I'm doing okay. I'm driving a manual Jeep. I got the top off. Life could be a lot worse. And for right now, I'm pretty happy with this. I am eagerly awaiting going back to my hotel and getting some food and crashing and falling asleep. But until that time comes, I'm in a Jeep, and the wind is in my hair, as you can visually see. Huge thank you to Jacob for letting me take out his Jeep Wrangler. This was very eye-opening. Again, we tacked this on. We weren't really supposed to do this review, and we did, and I'm very, very happy about that. Jacob is absolutely awesome. He brought this vehicle down about an hour on the highway just so I could drive it, and that means a lot to me. So huge thank you to Jacob. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.